Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to the 10th episode of Hoopaholics. So, we got myself, Jared, the guy Dave, and the GOAT Nebu down below. So, we got some cool little topics that we're going to go over today. So, well, before we even get into that, again, I want to thank all of you for the 1K. That's amazing, man. We really hit that in like a month's time, dude. It was so crazy. I love it. And just expect more and more content coming out. We're trying to drop some new creative stuff. We definitely got a cool little 1K video coming out. We had a lot of fun making it. You guys will have a lot of fun watching it as well. But without further ado, let's hop into the first topic. So our first topic will be, I don't know if everyone saw this, but Iman Shumpert was on somebody's podcast. Forget what it was, but he was on somebody's podcast the other day, and they asked him who he thought would have won in a 7-game series between the 2016 Cavs and the 2020 Lakers. And he went on to say the Cavs in 5. So he thinks he thinks that the Cavs are just going to wax the Lakers, which I don't whatsoever. I don't think that's going to happen.
I'm not biased or anything.
I'm not biased or anything, but hey, look.
I said the Cavs will still win.
Oh, Dave thinks Cavs.
No, I don't think it's crazy to say the Cavs are going to win. I think it's crazy to say the Cavs are 5, though. That's a little crazy to me. You disrespecting LeBron and AD. Let's be honest.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. Is he disrespecting them, or is he just confident in his own team?
He's disrespecting them.
What do you think, Nebu?
Team, but he's disrespecting.
He's disrespecting them.
Like, he's definitely confident. Like, I mean, I get why he, like, that's the only reason why he said that. Because there's no way he really thinks, like, yo, we're just absolutely smoking them. Because if you lose in 5, you pretty much have no chance. Like,
yeah, I definitely think it's going to be like a 7-game series, though. I got my Lakers, though. No bias or anything. I got my Lakers, though. I just think the Lakers are too big. I mean, J.R. Smith went on and said it. I mean, I guess he's playing for the Lakers now, so he would say he's going to take the Lakers. But he also was like, yeah, I think the Lakers are just a lot bigger than what the Cavs were. And it just depends on our shooters, man. Like, if our shooters can hit shots. I mean, we were still able to win this series, even though Danny Green was horrible because it was against Miami. But, like, if we were playing a team like the 2016 Cavs, which is an amazing team, we can't be the Lakers can't go without their shooters actually making shots. Like, LeBron and AD are going to need a little more help. So I think it really depends on that as well. KCP was balling in the finals. I definitely think he'll show up again. We just need Danny Green to be more consistent because that was pretty bad.
Yeah, but KCP showing up in those finals was just phony. That was just out of nowhere.
Yeah, because he saved it for the finals. He saves it for the biggest moments. That's what KCP does.
That's so cat.
That's what KCP does. What do you mean?
Okay. How about this? I'll present it as this. Look, so everybody is how they were that series. So, like, KCP's hitting in this series. Like, when they're playing, like, so take how the Lakers played, how they were, like how well each player did and how trash each one, like, each certain ones did, and then take that with the Cavs. So how good, like Kyrie and LeBron are obviously still going to be nice regardless, but, like, say J.R. Smith's hitting his shots, Richard Jefferson, like, whoever was hitting then they're shooting the same. Like, if they're open, they're going to hit it. Like, sometimes, you know how, like, so for example, and, like, yeah, I think you're getting what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying. So, I mean, so you're basically just saying we're going under the assumption that the Lakers team is going to look exactly how the Lakers looked this playoffs, and the Cavs are going to play exactly how they looked in that playoffs.
Yes.
Well, that's tough. Because I do, like, yeah, Tristan Thompson was playing pretty well. J.R. Smith was playing pretty well. And obviously Kyrie and LeBron were balling. But so was LeBron and AD. They were showing up every game. But I feel like the only other guy that actually showed up throughout the whole finals was really KCP. The only other guy that was actually showing up. Other people were just mad and consistent. Rondo was doing his thing too, but he had a couple nights where his shooting was miserable, like literally like 1 of 8. But that's the beauty of Rondo, though, is that if he's not hitting his shots, he could do so much other things on the court, like get the assists.
Well, there's another side of that coin. There's another side of that coin too, where if he is hitting his shots, like he did in the
definitely gonna win.
game,
Lakers are definitely winning. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm like, what else do you do? Like this guy's unstoppable.
For
Like
sure,
he hits
no.
his shots.
That's what
like,
I was telling Nebu before we even hopped on the podcast. I was like, if the Lakers shooters are actually making shots like they're supposed to, we're beating them, like for sure. I think that's when the Lakers are going to beat them in like 6 games, honestly. Because I think as long as we're making those shots, AD is going to be so unstoppable. They don't have any answer for him. I think that's an easy like 30 a game at minimum, like 30, 12.
Yeah, AD is definitely the X factor of everything.
Yeah, because he's such a mismatch. At least I think the Heat had a way better chance of defending him than even those Cavs did. Because Kevin Love is way too small for him. Tristan Thompson's not defending him. And then Iman Shumpert said they were going to put Timothy Mozgov on him. Like, come on now. Timothy Mozgov.
I mean, it's basically, if you also look at it too, though, basically...
He's going to defend AD, though? All right. That's all I'm talking about. And you know he's not hooping with AD under the basket.
Rim protector, come on now. That's the big Russian man. Come on now.
That's the guy who dropped 93 and 20 in the game. Come on now. I'll put that up on the screen for anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about. But I think that's going to be a good series, though. I definitely think it goes 7 games. I'm going to take the Lakers just because I do think AD is that much of a mismatch. But if you take the Cavs, I don't think that's a crazy pick. I wouldn't be surprised also if the Cavs win. I think it's definitely a 7-game series going to go down to the wire. I mean, LeBron versus LeBron, that would be the matchup of a lifetime. What do you think? What do you think it's going to be, Dave? If you got the Cavs, I think you're the only one who took the Cavs out of us.
Yeah, I don't know. I basically put it together like you have LeBron and LeBron kind of like cancel each other out, I guess. And you look about it, I just like the rest of the Cavs roster around like AD, like it's basically AD versus like Kyrie, Kevin Love, and the whole Cavs team, and it's basically just AD because like I don't know. Although I will say though, I do really like Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee and how they were just super physical the whole time. Like that makes the Lakers team deeper and like that sort of aspect of their team that I like over them. Instead of like the whole guards and stuff like having the JR Iman and stuff like that hitting their shots and all that stuff like that for the Cavs.
I feel that. I definitely think there's an argument to be made as far as like the rest of the Cavs roster being better than the Lakers, or like being a little bit more deep than what the Lakers have.
Yeah, they both have definitely their benefits and all that, and different areas.
Yeah, like it's not. I mean, because the Lakers, when we picked our people for the bench, like they weren't necessarily scrubs, but a lot of them played like scrubs in the playoffs. They just weren't making shots and weren't being consistent. But
another thing too is who was the more dominant LeBron?
Yeah, I think it's close because I feel like they play different kind of. Like LeBron now. He didn't even have to do as much because like you have AD, like he didn't really have to do as much, and he focused a lot on facilitating. I feel like even more so than when he was in Cleveland, because his assist numbers are, I think, what do you have, like 10 or 11 in the finals? But his assist numbers were, you could just tell how he was really being the point guard for the Lakers a lot of times. Where, I mean, he was doing that on the Cavs too, don't get me wrong. But I think they're kind of just different. I don't think that they're that far apart either, though. I mean, I would say the 2016 LeBron has probably got a slight edge just because he's got a little bit more legs under him still. But it's not like LeBron right now doesn't have the same athleticism he had.
No, LeBron looked like he really hasn't aged like that.
I mean, honestly, he still looks like the same.
Yeah, he just changed his physique, but like he still plays the same. It's like weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's just, and he's agile too. Like that's definitely something he's definitely wanted to keep.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I definitely think that's going to be a really good series, though, for sure. I got the Lakers, though. Nebs, I think he picked the Lakers as well. And Dave, you had the Cavs. I think it's going to be a great series, but I think that's enough for that first topic. Pretty much all had our thoughts out there for that one. So let's head into the second topic, which is, I don't really have a straight title for this, but basically when we look back at the bubble, who were the people that rose their stock? Who were the people that you could say maybe they overachieved, and then the people who underachieved or underperformed? And what we are expecting from those people. We're also including coaches into this as well, like what we're expecting for those players as coaches going into the next season. So I guess a player that comes to mind right away, I mean, we already roasted Paul George on here in the last one. We talked about Jamal Murray and his jump for next season. You know who played really bad but was expected to play really good was Pascal Siakam. You know, he went and got paid, and he was supposed to be the man in Toronto. But I think Kyle Lowry was definitely played a lot better than him, and Fred VanVleet as well also played a lot better than him. So, do you think he's phony, or do you think he just had a bad playoffs?
I think he just had a bad playoffs. Honestly, for Paul George, too, I think Paul George just had another bad playoffs. I think they're still going to be good players.
The key word was another.
Yeah. But, like, still, he's going to come back and be a great player, so at least in the regular season. We don't know. If he does it again in the playoffs, bro, Paul George, I don't even think I would want you on my team, like, honestly. Like, I couldn't even say that at that point. But, no, like, Pascal Siakam, I feel like, was just almost – I think he'll bring it back next year.
I hope so. I really do, because, you know, Toronto went and paid him to be the man over there in Toronto. And if he doesn't perform up to expectations 2 years in a row, you got some room for concern over there in Toronto. I don't know. That's the thing with Pascal, though. I don't know if he could be a number one. Maybe at least not yet. Like, he's a really good player, but I feel like he's someone you put as a number 2 spot, like behind. Like when Kawhi was there and he was behind Kawhi, that was perfect. Like, he was able to play his role to perfection. Honestly, like
the team was so good.
Yeah, the team was so good, and I think Kawhi should have stayed, though. To be honest with you, Kawhi really should have stayed in Toronto. No cap, they would have been a lot better than what the Clippers were. But Pascal Siakam's definitely somebody that underperformed a lot in the bubble. But let's talk about someone where their stock rose was someone like Chris Paul again, because we know how much his trade value was kind of diminished after the whole Houston thing and going to OKC, and he showed everybody, even before the bubble, how good the Thunder, he made the Thunder and how impactful he actually is. So where do you think would be his best situation come next season? Like, where do you want to see Chris Paul go?
His best situation would be to get on the Lakers, obviously. Like, go back there. That would be. All
right, without saying the obvious, though.
I mean, it's always the best. I'm trying to say something realistic, though. I guess, like, you know, actually, no, it's realistic. Lakers can get him. Lakers can get him.
Oh no, it's not realistic.
Yeah, it's realistic. Yo, put a package together. What you mean, Kuzma?
They probably could, honestly. They probably could.
Kuzma?
Yo, don't look at Kuzma's like getting Chris Paul. Like,
bro, no, we're gonna put more.
Nah, they would have to package way more.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that straight up Kuzma for CP3. You put in Kuzma, the GOAT Caruso. You throw in Danny Green, some picks.
No.
You trading Caruso
for Chris Paul? Yeah,
yeah, of course he would. What? Are you kidding me? Back, like, don't even fucking look back. Caruso, bro, get the fuck out of here.
Bro,
like,
Caruso's the GOAT.
Come on, dog.
He's the GOAT. What?
If I had the chance to trade Caruso for Derrick Rose, let alone Chris Paul right now, I'm doing it.
Derrick Rose is nice.
Derrick Rose is nice. Yes.
That would be stupid if you guys got Derrick Rose.
I've seen reports about that too already. About the Lakers going after Derrick Rose, and I would do that trade on heartbeat. I
need to start seeing the rumors where we traded Al Horford.
There's been rumors for sure. There's been a lot of trade packages going on. But going back to what was the question before. So realistic, because we won't say that Chris Paul going to the Lakers is like that realistic. But let's say like his realistic spots, like landing spots. Where do you think you would like to see him end up next year? Where do you think is going to be a good fit, like a good place for him to go and try and finally get his chip that he deserves?
I think Chris Paul and Giannis will be tough.
Chris Paul in Milwaukee is super tough. I think the best chance at a ring that can realistically happen would probably be in Milwaukee. But I also saw something about him going to the Nets. And the Nets
What
pulling
would
something
the?
off.
I mean,
That's kind of ugly.
I think that would be better. That
Bro,
would be better. Though.
That was
That would be
ugly.
better.
Chris Paul, Kyrie, and KD is ugly.
No, that's tough.
Bro.
That's so tough.
That's tough, right? But I don't know, like.
Look, that makes Kyrie no longer have to do the facilitating job that he doesn't even like to do. Now you
Yeah.
just let Chris Paul do all that. Kyrie go get your buckets, KD go get your buckets. Chris Paul can just do everything.
Chris Paul's cool.
facilitating-wise.
Chris
And he's
Paul's
cool
cool
with
with
that.
not getting buckets.
He's cool with that. Yeah. If he'll still average like 14, 15 and get you like 10 assists a game. Not like
At this point,
on
he
the
will do
Nets.
anything
to get a ring.
to get
bro.
back to
Yeah.
get to the finals. Like,
And I saw a trade
he-
package about getting it's like it was like Dinwiddie, Karis LeVert maybe, and maybe some picks. And those two dudes right there can hoop too, and that'd be really good for.
Yeah,
for
no,
the
that
Thunder.
would be.
That's
that would
actually a really
definitely
good
be
package. I'm not even gonna lie. I mean, if I'm the Nets though, Karis LeVert is a really good player to have though, and Spencer Dinwiddie too. But to get Chris Paul, if you're trying to win now, I would do it.
As soon as Kyrie and KD chose the Nets, I thought of it more as like, all right, like you look at all the depth that the Nets have. I was like, yeah, that's cool, but at the same time, I feel like they just more so made themselves trade pieces. Like I felt like they were gonna get traded at some point,
Who?
like Dinwiddie and like
Oh.
Jared Allen.
See, that's
Yeah,
the
I
good
mean-
thing about where the Nets are at, though, because the Nets are like the Clippers in that, like they have a bunch of like depth on the team. So those players are even younger, so they can be traded. But if they don't want to trade them, like if they don't see the right trade, they can also keep them, and those guys can play. Those guys are still going to be.
Yeah, for sure.
They could still go to the finals with those guys. Like
sure.
they don't even really need a third star.
Yeah. I think getting someone like Chris Paul just puts them over the top, honestly. They're already like
Exactly.
I think they definitely win in the East, like no question. And then whoever gets there in the finals, and you know how Chris Paul gets in the playoffs, especially KD and Kyrie. And playoff
Yeah.
Kyrie, yo, that's dirty. Let me tell you, if that happens, Chris Paul about to get that
Chris
ring.
Paul's getting his ring.
Chris Paul about to
getting
get
his
that
ring.
ring. That's what I'm trying to say. He's about to get that ring for sure. Because Chris Paul is not gonna mind taking the backseat at all. He's at that point in his career where he's willing to do that all the time.
He needs a ring too, man.
Yeah, he does. He deserves one. I mean, there's so many times where he was kind of like in the right spot, but injuries happen. And
Bro, he's
never
still
even
one of the
got a
most.
chance
And the
to go.
craziest thing is like you think of him as like one of the most winningest basketball players, like and especially in like pretty much the regular season, but like he could just never get there.
I mean, yeah, he's always been in the playoffs pretty much his whole career. He just couldn't get over the top. Could never stay healthy at certain times. That's another thing though. If he does go to Nets, you hope he stays healthy, because that's the only problem for Chris Paul. That's like the biggest concern when it comes to him is his health.
That's honestly what I'm most scared about, because
Yeah.
I feel like Chris Paul balled out this season, and then next season somebody's gonna trade for him, and then he's gonna get.
I feel like he's
right
just
back to being
cursed, bro. Like it just when he's in the right spot,
Exactly.
he's cursed. Like something happens. Like it's just. I hope it doesn't happen again though. So we'll see though. But Nets is tough. Milwaukee, that's another tough spot. And like I was telling Nebby, don't sleep on the Knicks. Don't sleep on the
No.
Knicks, yo. Chris Paul, Carmelo comes back. Yo, DeRozan wants out of San Antonio. The new
Okay.
big three, bro.
I don't even
The
think Chris
new
Paul
big
wants to go to
three.
New York.
He didn't want to go to OKC either. He was there.
I mean, I guess so.
They're going to trade him. It's not like he really has much say in it. I mean, they'll probably trade him to where he wants to go, though, especially for what he just did to OKC. Did for AKC. And
I'm trying
when
to see him on the Sixers.
Yeah, they got to trade Ben Simmons.
Nah, bro, yo.
You got to trade Ben Simmons. That's the only way he goes to Philly.
Nah, man, we got it.
Only way he goes to Philly.
Got Al Horford.
No. Yeah, putting Al Horford in is the
Al
equivalent of me
Horford's like a
putting...
top 5 power forward right now. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
We
putting
got
Al Horford in the trade
Matisse.
package is the
We
equivalent
got
of me putting Danny
Matisse. We
Green in
got
the trade package.
Zaire. Like we got some.
Zaire's not
trade.
even playing.
Okay, we got
Yo,
Matisse.
Zaire.
Matisse out here. Like, come on, no.
Yeah. What's the trade package?
What's the trade package?
What are you gonna trade for Chris Paul if you don't trade Ben?
Probably like Josh Richardson, Matisse, and like I don't know, like some picks or some shit.
No, that's not it.
Yo, okay. So what else? What are the Bucks trading?
what are the Bucks gonna trade?
Yeah.
I don't even know. I gotta look at trade packages. I don't think they got like the craziest trade package either. That's the thing.
Nobody
I
does.
don't think they're.
Nobody really has a crazy trade package for Chris Paul.
I mean, I liked what I said from the Nets, honestly. Spencer Dinwiddie, Karis LeVert, and some picks.
That's
actually
okay.
tough.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's actually pretty tough for them.
But that's not like.
I mean, you can't
like,
expect to get. You can't expect to get like someone on Chris Paul's level back from unless you're trading for Ben Simmons. Like, that's the only way. If they're gonna try and make a trade with Philly, it's for Ben Simmons or Joel. It's like
That's stupid, though. I don't know. There's no way that they're gonna be like, yeah, like no one else is giving you a Ben Simmons. We're not giving you Ben Simmons.
Exactly. That's why they're not gonna get Chris Paul.
We don't need him then. No, Chris Paul. We're cool with Ben.
They don't need it. Ben is better than Chris Paul, anyways. You don't.
Yeah.
Ben is better than Chris Paul, but Chris Paul would be tough there.
Chris Paul fits.
What's up with James Harden though?
That's not happening.
That's definitely.
No, that's not gonna ever happen.
That's definitely not gonna happen, bro.
That would just. I would go sleep. I would go to sleep so happy at night.
This is a little off topic, but I kind of want to talk about this. Dave, if you just saw a headline that's like James Harden traded to blah blah blah, like wherever, are you shocked? Would you be shocked? Okay, because Austin was like, I wouldn't be shocked.
Bro,
I would be shocked. I would be like, yo, what? I would like.
There's going to be a legitimate uproar in Houston if they trade him.
And then, but he was also saying like they trade him, and then obviously they basically gonna blow up. Like they'll just blow the team up. Like they'll trade Harden, they trade Westbrook, like just start because Daryl Morey's already gone, D'Antoni's gone. He's saying they just rebuild because it's not gonna cut it.
I could see it. I'm not gonna be shocked. Like the most shocked thing. Honestly,
if James Harden just got traded though, I would be shocked though. Unless it was like, unless I see like Russ gets traded, right, and then like the rumors start kicking in maybe. But if it just like up and happened, I don't know.
No, it don't matter when it happens, bro. That he is the best player other than Hakeem Olajuwon they have ever had. Yo. Get rid of him.
Sorry, no, he is. Yeah, no, that would be like. That would be pretty crazy, man. Honestly,
and it's not like you can't compete with him. Even just by having him, you're competing. If you get rid of him, you're probably not competing for at least a decade, bro.
You can get a lot for James Harden, obviously. So it depends what they're gonna get in return. Like if they traded like Harden and Westbrook or something, I don't know. You can get a whole team for that.
Yeah, you can, but a team doing all that for Harden still trying to keep like their nice players, so they're not going to try to trade away like their nicest players.
I mean, I would if I was getting Harden and Russ.
Okay, so like, all right. So like, if you're okay, I'm just trying to even think like, who like so. I don't really know who. I just can't even imagine James Harden getting traded right now. So
it's not gonna happen. He's definitely not gonna get traded.
Regardless if they came out and opened up and said, "Yeah, we're trading him," like regardless of what the headline said, like James Harden traded, I'm gonna be like jaw drop. I'm like, what? Like no matter where, it's like the decision. Like even if like LeBron or KD like still stayed where they were, I would still be like, oh man, he just made the decision.
Yeah, no, I would be shocked if he got traded to another team. Then. Yeah, I definitely don't think that's gonna happen. But getting back to the topic at hand, we're talking about Chris Paul. So I think he's going to probably go out east. I'm thinking. I think that's been most of the trades I've been seeing circulating. But it's hard to tell.
I wanted him.
Yeah, I mean, goes to the Clippers. What are they gonna trade though? I mean, they got a lot, of course, but they just traded so much to get Paul George. I think they're gonna run it back again with him. I don't think they're gonna just cut it after one season, even though it was really rough. But
it's also like a time, like a really weird time too. So I think Paul George has that rocking for him right now.
Yeah, I mean, like the whole bubble thing and everything was super weird, but
yeah,
it's still no excuse to shoot that poorly. But yeah, Chris Paul, I guess I can't wait to see the trade deadline and everything, or the off-season moves, acquisitions. See what happens with that.
Are you going to be upset if he doesn't get traded?
I wouldn't be upset if Chris Paul didn't get traded. I would just be surprised if he didn't get traded. I mean, he made it. I feel like everything is for him being traded at this point. really see why the Thunder would keep him, because then you're gonna let him walk for nothing when he's willing to be traded right now. So it just doesn't make sense. Like, you're gonna keep him for another year, another probably first round exit. Maybe you get to the second round next year, maybe, and then he just walks.
Whenever low key tough this year.
They were literally one possession away from beating the Heat. I mean, the Heat, one possession away from beating the Rockets. Like, they're a really good team, but you're not gonna be able to win a championship with that. And I don't know. It doesn't make sense. If I'm the GM, it doesn't make sense to let him walk for free and we get nothing when his trade value is high right now. Like, trade him. Even if it was getting something. Like, instead of letting him go for free, it just doesn't make sense in my eyes. So I'll be kind of surprised if he doesn't get traded, honestly. Especially, like, all the media saying, yeah, he's gone, he's going here, like, all the speculation and everything. And then he even came out with that thank you video for OKC, like, after the bubble, like, thanking OKC. That kind of seems like a kind of a farewell type of thing. So I'll be kind of surprised if he didn't get traded.
No, I agree. I think he'll be traded. If I was a bet man, I don't think he'd be traded.
Yeah.
If you're a betting man right now, let's call right now. Where do you think he's going to?
Hold on one second.
Damn. All right. So if he was getting traded, I would say probably Milwaukee, because they're gonna at least try. They want to keep Giannis there, so like they're at least gonna like shell everything out, get Chris Paul, and at least be like, hey, Giannis, look, we at least we did like they're showing him we tried. Like, okay, maybe they don't win it next year, but then they're like, okay, we can run it back again, like one more time. Giannis just like re-sign to, like, they want to do anything to keep him, and getting Chris Paul will probably go a long ways to do that.
If you get Chris Paul to Milwaukee, that's definitely going to, make Giannis reconsider any thoughts he had of leaving, at least for this season. I definitely think if he goes to Milwaukee, he's the piece they're missing, because you add him, Chris Middleton, and then Giannis. Chris Paul's going to be able to get to those closing moments that Giannis couldn't do, or maybe even sometimes Chris Middleton, because Chris Paul is still a great closer. And that's really what Milwaukee needs right now, as far as closing games out. Someone who could be consistent with that.
To me, just getting Giannis to re-sign is worth doing whatever. Like, to get
literally.
Like, giving up. If you had to give up everybody else besides Chris Middleton, and that was your team, like, just to get Giannis to stay, that's worth it.
Yeah, you gotta do everything to keep Giannis, because he's the only thing that's gonna be relevant in Milwaukee for the next, 10 years, or how many long he's gonna be in the NBA, 12 years. Because it's pretty unlikely that they draft someone that good again, and it's pretty unlikely that anyone goes there in free agency, especially without Giannis being there.
I'm willing to bet no one
ever goes to Milwaukee in free agency. Never. So I'm trying to think of another player who had whose stock went up a lot in the bubble.
Lou Dort.
Yeah, honestly, Lou Dort was out there.
He was hooping.
He was hooping, bro. He even got some praise from the GOAT Austin Rivers. Like, come on now. Something Austin Rivers. But
he's nice. He comes out next season balling again.
Austin Rivers was saying he was like,
what's up with TJ Warren? Yeah, what's he doing next year?
I think if anyone was phony in that bubble, it was TJ Warren, bro.
Yeah, no, for sure.
He was the most overachieving dude.
He was torching, yo.
This dude was Kawhi Leonard for 2 weeks. He was just going crazy.
He was balling,
bro. That was crazy. That was some Linsanity type vibes, yo. Just this random dude going crazy. That I just couldn't believe it.
I will say, as a team, I think the Suns stock went up.
Yeah, true.
They
were hooping.
The Suns.
If you were gonna ask me that question, that was the first team or even person I was gonna say would be Devin Booker and all that. But that pretty much went without saying, because they really showed up in those games. They showed up. They were ready.
Sure.
Now, if we're going off of that, they're gonna be the best team in the league next season.
Get ready for it.
Realistically, though, are they going to make the playoffs? What do you think?
No.
Because they're obviously not going to be the best team in the league
No,
next year.
I honestly don't. I think if you
I
have
think they will.
teams, I think you have to add in teams like the Warriors are going to be in the playoffs, like without a doubt. That's already pushing one team out. And then you have to add in the fact that other teams, like, well, maybe if Chris Paul is gone, the Thunder don't make it, so that's another spot open now.
Oh, regardless, I think it will be.
It's going to be close. I think it's going to be close because there's going to be a lot of better teams. Because, like, the Mavericks were the 7th seed this year, and the Mavericks are way better than what the Suns were, and they were only the 7th seed. So,
But the Mavericks pretty much, you could say, like, underachieved how they were playing at the end of the year. It's how they were in the beginning.
yeah, I mean, I think the Mavericks should be better next season for sure. Like,
Yeah,
better record.
They're a really, really, really good 7th seed.
Yeah, but then even someone like the Blazers are going to go up again. That's going to kick some people down because the Blazers really shouldn't have been an 8 seed. The Blazers were banged up all year. If they're healthy, they're going to be like top 5.
Yeah, we'll see what they come back like. They get Melo back.
The West is just so competitive. We don't even know what other teams are going to turn up. Like,
Oh yeah,
you know,
you don't know which ones they're going to turn down too.
I mean, even the Kings were fighting for a playoff spot at the end, and the Grizzlies too. Like, I think those teams are still going to be there as well. So it's going to be close. If the Suns are going to make the playoffs, I don't think it's anything crazy. I think they get in like the 8 seed or the 7 seed. Because the Suns, they also started off hot at the beginning of the season. Like, they started off like 7-0, like same thing they did in the bubble, and then just completely flatlined and did the same thing the Suns always do. I mean, they were good enough to hang around and make it to the bubble at least. I think they'll definitely be better than next season than they were this season. They'll definitely have a way better record. I think they'll be at least competing for a playoff spot. I think that's their expectation going into the season. Like, they should be competing for a playoff spot. Maybe like an 8 seed, 7 seed. I can't really see them getting anything higher though.
Top 5 seed. Houston trades James Harden, blows the team up. They're up out of there.
That's not gonna happen. That's definitely not gonna happen. James Harden is gonna be on the Houston Rockets until his contract is up and he leaves or resigns. But I think the Suns definitely a team that overachieved in the bubble, or they rose their stock as far as going into next season. Trying to think of another player, team, or maybe any coaches that come to mind that kind of look maybe rose their stock, or maybe they looked a little phony.
Trying to think coaches.
Phony.
I mean, Doc Rivers is now on Philly, but what do you think about Doc Rivers? He has the most 3-1 blown leads in NBA history out of any coach. He's consistently done it with great teams as well.
He's also had a lot of misfortune in his times of coaching and being in those situations. He's had a lot of misfortune, but I don't know. It's almost like Andy Reid. Andy Reid, literally same thing with the Eagles. You know what I mean? Like, he would go there and he would go like into playoffs every single year, and they would just lose.
That was
like
now
he's with the Chiefs.
That was one team though. Like, Doc Rivers did it with Boston. He only had one ring when they had that Super Bowl.
Got a ring, dude.
Got the ring though.
Okay.
He goes
But
to
they were back in the
Clippers.
finals though. They lost to the Lakers. Like,
Yeah.
but they were there. They were there back to back. But all their players were still like old. So I mean, when the Heat got together, I definitely wouldn't say that like the Celtics like should have beat that team. Like, and they still competed with the Heat.
And then I think it's pretty bad when you have like Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, all them people, and they never even got to. I don't even think they got to a Western Conference Finals, let alone the Finals. Pretty sure.
No, they didn't.
They didn't. Yeah, because
They
Chris
didn't.
Paul's first Western Conference Finals was in Houston, so they never even got to the Western Conference Finals. Especially since they blew a 3-1 lead to the freaking Rockets bench. That was horrible. But
Well, JJ Redick said there was a lot of fucking issues with that team. That's the only thing. Like,
with
there
that
were a
Clippers
lot-
team, right? Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly. There's a lot of issues, but I don't think Doc Rivers is a phony coach or anything, but when you do something as bad as blowing a 3-1 lead multiple times, it just raises my concerns a little bit. That's all. So, I think he'll do good things in Philly. I think he'll definitely be better than what Brett Brown was doing. I think he'll bring out the potential of, or like really bring out Ben Simmons even more. I think he'll get him to at least start taking some threes next season. I think Joel is gonna definitely level up again this year. I think it'll be some good things about to come from them. I'm just curious to see about playoffs. That's my only concern when it comes to Doc. Is what happens in the playoffs. But that was one coach that came to mind. I was thinking.
I think the things with coaches too is like sometimes like they just kind of break out and I'm just like, oh hey, like they are kind of a good coach.
Right.
It just happens like because I mean the thing is coaching is like having especially in basketball, it's a hard job to have because you're so player reliant, obviously.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think
because the Lakers definitely did not have the best coach in the playoffs. I will say that. They still won the chip.
We just have the two best players in the playoffs.
Exactly.
Frank Vogel's not a bad coach, though.
No, he's not.
He's not a bad coach. He's definitely not one of the top echelon of coaches, though. But I mean, like even Frank Vogel was pretty good in Indiana too. His days over there, like Indiana was overachieving for a while. Like he knows how to do so. Like he's good at what he does, but he's not one of the. I wouldn't call him like one of the better coaches in the NBA. I'm trying to remember who was head coach. So, because Dave was talking about like you never know about coaches that are going to break out or anything. Like we saw how Nick Nurse got his job a couple years ago and already won a ring over there in Toronto. I mean, yeah, he did have Kawhi Leonard, but the Raptors were an amazing team again this year, and they're literally one piece away from still being an actual title contender. And someone like the Pacers fired Nate McMillan, who I thought was a pretty good coach. You know, he speaking about misfortune stuff, Victor Oladipo getting hurt and Miles Turner never living up to his true expectation. They fired him and they went and hired this new guy, some assistant coach named Nate Borgskrin. I don't even know how to say his last name, honestly. I didn't want to like hate on the hire or anything because you never know how good this coach could be. Maybe he is way better than Nate McMillan, but we'll see. I feel like Nate McMillan was always pretty good though for the Pacers. They always did better than what I thought they were going to be, because the Pacers never really had like any true star. Victor Oladipo kind of blew up that one year, but that was the only year he really had, and then he got injured.
When you were just talking, you just made me think of something. So, if Kawhi goes back, or not Kawhi, if DeMar DeRozan goes back to Toronto, are they phony? Are they back to being phony?
They're going to be nice, though, but it's going to be the same situation as before.
Kyle Lowry's been hooping in the playoffs now after being a terrible playoff player.
That's super ugly. If he goes back, though.
He can't go back there, bro. That's super ugly.
He can't go back.
He can't. That's mad ugly.
That's so ugly.
He cannot go back.
What if he
there.
goes back?
No, he's not.
Bro, if he goes back there, they better not be phony. That's all I have to say.
Bro, because if he goes back there and they're phony, he answers his own question. Was I the problem? Like what he was saying on JJ Rex's problem? Yeah. If you go back there and they're phony, you're the problem. That's all I'm saying on that one. But he cannot go back to Toronto. He can't do that. That's just so weird.
Why though? He never wanted to leave.
He never wanted to leave, but they got better once they traded him.
All right.
Or so they traded for Kawhi Leonard.
Would you even try to go at him?
No.
You
No.
wouldn't even try to offer him something? You don't
No.
gotta offer him nothing. You wouldn't try to offer him nothing.
No.
So who should they go after? They gotta go after.
They're gonna save everything and go after Giannis next season. They're just gonna run it back again this year and save everything and make a run at Giannis in free agency. Like every team is doing it. No one really cares about this free agency class like that. There's really nobody in it. It's about next season.
So I'm saying you get DeRozan back there for the low.
Bro, it would have to be like I don't even know. Like I'd probably pay him like
give him like a
I'll
nice
cool,
1 year,
like,
20 mil. Like what's
I
up?
wasn't even gonna say 20 mil, bro. I was gonna say like 12.
12?
I was just saying like 12, bro. You said
12.
20 mil.
12 million?
Like 12,
You're
man.
tripping.
Yeah, like 12 million, bro.
He's really got he cannot go back there, especially on that, bro. I would.
That's what I'm saying. That's what, nah.
Nah.
You're gonna give DeRozan 20 million, bro, a year.
For 1 year. I'm saying a 1 year deal.
For 1 year, that's not bad then. I mean, like if I give him 20 mil for one season, like okay.
Because who's gonna go after DeRozan? Like the Knicks? Like I think he'd rather go back to Toronto than go to the
He
Knicks.
would definitely rather go back to Toronto. Yeah, I'm not saying that. I mean, he's gonna be a free agent. He can go wherever he wants. So, I mean, if the Raptors, I don't think I see the Raptors. When's the last time a team has traded away a superstar? Well, I guess DeRozan was not a superstar, but he was like an all-star player at the time. They trade an all-star player away, wait a few years, and then come and ask for him back? I don't know. I haven't seen something like that. I feel like it's kind of weird. Maybe Dwight Howard with the Lakers, but
yeah, that's true.
But
Hold on.
That's very true.
Aldridge back to Portland though.
Aldridge back to Portland, yo, that would actually okay. I wouldn't mind that.
See, he said he wants to go back.
I wouldn't mind that though.
That would be tough.
But has DeRozan said he wanted to go back to Toronto though?
He said, obviously he says he loves it. Like he misses that shit. Like he doesn't want to. Like he's obviously sick. Like him and Kyle Lowry are still boys. Like I'm sure he still wants.
I'm sure if the Raptors offer him a contract, he would definitely take it. 100%. He'd go back to Toronto. I don't know. I don't know if I see Toronto making him an offer. And if they did, it would be something like you said, probably a 1 year deal. I don't know if he's looking for that in particular. Maybe he'll take the 1 year deal, prove he's still got it, and then they can maybe sign him for more and try and make a run at Giannis. Cause like that's the thing with DeRozan, man. Like he should be so good of a player, but in the playoffs for Toronto, he was worse than Paul George, and that's saying something.
But so was Kyle Lowry.
Yeah,
and now
Kyle
look at
Lowry
Kyle
has
Lowry.
proved already though that he is way better than that.
Yeah, just within the last 2 years.
But
That's
he
what I'm
played
saying.
with Kawhi. Kawhi turned him up.
Yeah,
Kawhi turned it. DeMar DeRozan did not play with Kawhi.
that's what I'm saying. But still, like, you don't think Nick Nurse has anything to do with that? Like, Nick Nurse definitely has something to do with Kyle Lowry actually being good in the playoffs.
Yeah, Nick Nurse is really good, of course. I mean, but it's not like Dwayne Casey was a bad coach either, though. They were just so bad. Like, I don't know. I felt like it was a mental thing, honestly. Like they were just terrible every time. Just shooting percentages and turnovers, the whole thing. I mean, I definitely am not signing DeMar to Toronto for no long-term thing. It would have to be like a year thing if he went back to Toronto. Yeah, it would have to be like some kind of year thing. And if they did that, that's cool, I guess. I still don't know if I'm trying to give him 20 million though. I think he's got to earn that. But because his stock has fallen so much in the last like 2 years. DeMar DeRozan.
That's what I'm saying. So nobody's really gonna be going at him like that. So Toronto could get him on something cool like that.
I think teams are gonna go at him for something cool like that. Like what we're saying, I think teams will try and get him on like a team friendly type of deal. Like there's definitely some teams that'll try and get him. I think honestly the Knicks would probably offer him something though. Way more.
Knicks definitely
the Knicks
would
definitely offer him a lot more money than that though. So if he's trying to get a payday, if he's trying to get a payday though that he might not see anymore, he should take it. Because if he can get a payday from somebody that he might not be getting like after his next contract's up, he should probably take it. And I think the Knicks might do that for him because the Knicks are getting kind of desperate to get somebody over there.
Yeah, no, I could definitely see the Knicks doing that because that's definitely a
Knicks basketball.
That's
That's just a Knicks basketball move, man. Let's just pay this this is older all-star guy hella money. You know, even though he's not going to attract any free agents. But
Yeah, that's the thing. DeMar DeRozan's not like nobody's going to play with DeMar DeRozan.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it's still weird for DeMar to be back in Toronto, but I feel like they didn't leave on the best of terms.
I think the best move for him is just to go on one of those friendlier deals on a good team, because when you play good on a good team, you get paid from somewhere else.
Yeah,
it's kind of bent on yourself in that kind of way too.
Like, I mean, I know he didn't play terrible in San Antonio. I'm kind of curious as to what he did now. Just nothing came out of. I mean, they missed the playoffs for the first time in how long? What was his stats this season? Kind of curious.
I'm saying you talking about LaMarcus going back. You got Dwight Howard back. Like, starting to see it a little bit.
Yeah, like so. In San Antonio, he averaged for 2 seasons 21.6, 6 assists, 5.8 rebounds. So I mean that's pretty solid. Shot 50% from the field, but he can't shoot a 3 to save his life. 20% from 3, he averaged 0.1. But I mean, from the floor though, that's really good. 21.6, 6 assists, 6 rebounds. But see, that's the thing. Like, I know what he can do in the regular season. It's just that the playoffs is always the biggest issue with DeMar DeRozan. So that's the only thing he'd have to prove to me. That's why I would sign. I mean, if you sign him on a 1-year deal, that's cool.
For sure.
But LaMarcus Aldridge go back to Portland. I would love to see that, honestly. That would be so tough for them.
Portland needs that. Honestly, they just need something to put them over the top a little bit.
I don't know why he left in the first place.
I think I had the feeling that he thought that Portland wasn't it.
But Dame was nice off the rip. Like, how do you not see that this dude's about to be like?
Well, I'm pretty sure he wasn't. There was something.
He wasn't like this.
Yeah, he wasn't like fucking with Dame. Like I'm pretty sure I saw that.
Back? No, I don't know. I don't remember hearing about
that. Well,
that.
yeah, because now he probably realized the grass ain't greener on the other side. Like Dame's nice.
Yeah, Dame is dumb nice. Like way better than I ever was. But,
to be fair though, he also did think Kawhi was gonna be there, and Kawhi's not there no more.
Yeah, I guess so. But. So, and then like everyone else left too. Nicholas Batum left, like Wesley Matthews left. All of them fell off a cliff as soon as they left too. But that's a topic for another day. I think we mentioned a good amount of people there. I think we can kind of transition here into our third topic, which was what do we think the NBA is going to look like in the next 10 years? Like, which way are we going? We see players. Let me remember. I can't even remember his name now. But that 16-year-old kid that was giving Rudy Gobert buckets. He's like 7'3", 8-foot wingspan. 7'3", 16-year-old.
I'll just say like right now, like the expectation for everybody is you should be able to do everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be a bunch of like wing players, like a bunch of like 6'5" and up, like 6'5" to like 7 foot kind of like hybrid players who just do it all. And then there's like a little more. There's a little more like specialized players, like maybe the bigs like a 7'1" more like athletic dude or something like.
Yeah, so kind of like in the next 10 years, do you think you're gonna see anybody like at a Chris Paul type of height anymore? Like any players like that? Like
yes,
you would have to be so good to be playing at that time. Man.
I mean, that's what Chris Paul is. Like a Nate Robinson is. They're just so skilled at the game of basketball that they belong there.
How many people? I'm trying to think of how many people though, even right now, are like that height that are on that level. You just see it less and less.
On what
now.
Level? On
a Chris Paul type of level, you just see it less and less now. Even someone like Stephen Curry is 6'3".
Nice. Didn't we just see Donovan Mitchell's like 6'1" or something?
Donovan Mitchell, yeah, he's nice. Isn't he? Yeah, he is only like 6'1", I think.
Isn't he 6'1"?
Yeah, I think he's only 6'1".
Yeah, I remember. We looked this up.
Yeah, I think he's only 6'1".
Because I was shocked too.
I thought he was more like 6'3", 6'4", honestly. Nah, but he is man nice too. Though. But I definitely think in the next 10 years is going to be huge point guards, like 6'5" and up, 6'7". I mean, it's kind of trending that way right now. And we're going to see a lot of players, just so much positionless basketball.
Yeah.
You got people like Kristaps, who are 7'3", can shoot the three, put the ball on the floor, and can do everything on the court. And that's going to be the criteria now.
And we saw the Rockets go towards getting rid of the big man because of the skill kind of limitation and the spacing and stuff like that. But if you can draft a team to be better for the Rocket system, like just draft lengthier guys that can make up for not having that size, you can build a really good team like that. That's a good formula to win a basketball team right there. They just didn't have it all the way.
Yeah, until I see a team actually win with like a true small ball, like, I mean, because the Rockets were like super small ball. I mean, if they can add some more length, though, for sure.
The Warriors played a lot of small ball.
Lakers, the Warriors were like I think it's because their shooting was just so crazy. You know?
It would only, it would only. I think something
ridiculous.
like that would only work if your team is that good at hitting, and if your team is that good at shooting, or if your team is just that good at defense.
Yeah.
Because if you're going small, like, you really have to clamp up. You need to be on every rebound, and you can't miss. Like, you got to be on fire.
And that was the Warriors pretty much like every night.
But that's it, because they have two of the greatest shooters ever. Like,
yep.
A three when you had KD in there. Like,
I think, though, in the next 10 years, the NBA, I'm kind of curious to see whether or not, the three ball is still going to be, or if it's even going to be, people are going to shoot more threes. I don't even see how it gets any higher than what it's at right now. Like,
it could get higher.
It could, but I mean, if everyone got on the Rockets wave and was shooting like 50 threes a game, I mean, though, the whole league average has jumped up so much in the last few years. I'm kind of curious to see if basketball takes another turn at all, like, and what they lean to. Because it just went from being, if your team doesn't have a great big man, you can't win a championship, to if your team doesn't have an amazing guard, you can't win a championship. And it's just transitioned so many different times over even like the last 20 years, let alone like the last 30 or more. I feel like every decade has something new to offer. I think this is going to be, we're now entering where the players are more skilled than ever, though, at every position. Even though it might be a softer league now, but as far as a skill gap, I don't think any era is really coming close to what we have right now, especially in the next 10 years. Like, the skill in the NBA right now is just unreal. When you see these 7-footers being able to dribble guards and hit outside shots, that just didn't exist back then. I feel like if you saw someone doing that, they were just an anomaly. It's just crazy stuff. Like, how far.
And the crazy thing is too, like, back then it was so unheard of that coaches didn't even want their big men shooting threes, even if they had that ability. They would have never known.
They would get super mad whenever a big man would take a three, even if he was wide open. It just wasn't the thing back then. And now that even happened like 10 years ago. 11 years ago, but you wouldn't see big man pulling threes like that. And everything changed really quick, and I think it's the rise of advanced analytics also was a huge part of that. And when they put all the stats into it, you say, the best shot to take is a three, is the most points. So like, if all we do is take threes and layups, it's the most efficient. That's why everyone's also like, just the league is way more efficient now as well, because advanced analytics and how these coaches run their offenses. So it's definitely a stat-filled league now, more so than it's ever been, and it's definitely going to keep trending that way.
For sure.
A lot of like tall-ass point guards. The 7'3" centers are going to be coming down. I think we're just going to see at a point like some guy is literally like 7'3", like Will Chamberlain, like, but he could just do the guard moves and hit the
It's just a
threes.
point
Like,
guard or something like that.
Yeah,
Like, he just has
it's
like a
gonna-
7, like
bro, it's gonna be like some 2K player build. type of
Giannis.
dude.
Like
Yeah.
literally, look at Giannis. Basically, he's already kind of like
it'll
that.
basically be like if Giannis and KD just fused together. Like we're gonna see some guy like that one day, and he's just gonna be the GOAT. As soon as we see him play basketball, yeah, he's a GOAT. There's like nothing you can do to stop him. I cannot wait to see that if it ever happens. But
That's never happened.
if you just fuse those two guys, bro. If you just fuse KD and Giannis together, though, like how destructive that would be.
Okay, KD is a once in a generation player. Giannis is a once in they're both like you're just gonna say they're both gonna be.
Well, they're both playing in the NBA at the same time. So how much of a once in a gen? I mean, like you know what I'm saying? Like it's happening. It's happening. Like all you need is for there's somebody. I mean, we see it right now. Like I was looking at that kid. What's his name? Victor.
Oh, that's what I would say. Okay,
Victor Wembanyama is 17.
if I told you 5 years from now that dude is killing the NBA, or if I told you that dude is the boss, he's one of the worst players, where do you think he most likely? You think he's more likely to be good than a bum?
Yeah, but
16-year-old kid.
But you can
Right
say that
now.
for pretty much everybody. Like okay. Is it more likely to go in the NBA and be a bum, or is it more likely to go in the NBA and be nice? It's more likely for everybody to go in the NBA and be a bum. That's just
Yeah,
how,
but I'm
that's
saying, what do
statistics.
you think of him personally? What do you think of him?
When
you
I
think
saw
that
him
guy
at
is gonna
16
be
years
nice?
old, I mean, he was just given one of the best defensive players in the league, absolute buckets. Like I think he's gonna be pretty
Exactly.
nice.
So you think he's gonna be nice?
Yeah, I think he's gonna be nice.
Yeah, the thing is, they look so similar too, Rudy Gobert and him, and I was just like, you know what, like, this dude could really be like good. Like, if you think about it, like, all right, Rudy Gobert is really freaking tall, but like, if you think about like how like bodied he gets sometimes, like, I think anybody can be good with their length.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That kid's only 16 years old. Like, he's gonna bulk up. Like, yeah, he's gonna be skinny right now because he's 7'3" and he's only 16. So yeah, he's skinny. But you give him another 5 years when he gets to the NBA, he can be a monster. Like, he can look like look how much Kristaps Porzingis bulked up in one year. Like how skinny he was coming into the league to where he is now. Like, he's pretty big now. And if someone like that, or someone like this kid who's skinny like that, whole bulk up, and he can put the ball on the floor. He's got a good looking jump shot from what I saw in the video. I think he'll be pretty nice.
Yeah. So, where was that kid ranked or anything?
He's probably ranked. I haven't checked it though. I mean, I would assume so.
I was gonna say, this kid right here, his draft stock shot up the highest during the bubble earlier.
Who?
Give it NBA. That kid, that 16-year-old kid, his stock went up super high during the bubble.
For sure.
Going back to what you said earlier, that case.
Yeah,
Seeing a
for sure.
16-year-old kid getting buckets on an NBA player,
Yeah,
an actual NBA player.
He was getting buckets easy too, and it's not just an NBA player. It's Rudy Gobert. It's like one of the best
Exactly.
defensive players in the NBA. I mean, he might not be the greatest perimeter defender or anything like that, but he's defending somebody his own size, like 7'3", actually skinnier than him. But he was giving a little sauce, a little crossover, a little jumper in the face. He had a reverse dunk down there. Yeah, kid's gonna be nice. He's only 16 years old. Give him another 5 years. But we're gonna see a player. I'm telling you, we're gonna see a player that's like 7 foot tall that can dunk like Giannis, can shoot like KD. I feel like because I don't know why. I wish Giannis could just shoot, yo, because he'd be the GOAT.
You really think somebody's gonna come in and just be that much better? Because the player you were describing is that much better than anybody ever.
Bro, but I think someone can come in and do that. Yes. Giannis has the body type. Like KD still does have like the length and all that, but he got the jump shot and the guard like skills. There's gonna be a time where someone comes in that has like that type of body type and can shoot it. That's only a matter of time. Like, we're gonna see it at some point.
Have you seen anyone with that body type shoot it yet?
I don't know. They're all young. Maybe this 7'3" kid bulks up. You look how skinny Giannis was when he came in the NBA. I just don't think KD could get muscles like that though. Like, he just can't. His body type wasn't like Giannis, where he was like so genetically gifted to where he just grew muscles like that. I mean, because Giannis was so skinny when he first came into the NBA and just put on like 50 pounds of muscle. I
think that's because KD didn't have to do that. KD was already skilled enough to be a force in the league without being.
And there's gonna be somebody that's that skilled, like skinny, but just gonna bulk up, and like he's gonna be able to spray that thing. Like it's gonna happen, bro. It's gonna happen. He's gonna be averaging like 40 a game for his career. He's gonna be the GOAT. I don't know who it is yet. I don't know his name yet. But when it happens, just know that you heard it here first on the Hoopaholics podcast. I'm gonna put that out there right now. Jared's calling it out. The future GOAT within the next 10 years. I mean, Luka's gonna be the GOAT already, but there might be another one within another 10 years.
No, that guy you're describing would destroy Luka.
That guy would destroy everybody at the same time.
Exactly.
Like he's gonna hit everyone to turn around, fade away. He's gonna come on the court and just drop 45 on any given night. Like he's in no sweat, like 75% from the floor. Bro, his stat line is gonna be Wilt Chamberlain in the modern era. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy, dude. Now the NBA the next 10 years is looking good though. I'm excited to see it. A lot of talent in the NBA right now. So much talent in the NBA right now, more so than ever. It's hard to even put a list together, like from like 1 through 50, and hard to put certain people certain places.
It's getting crammed.
It's just so much talent. So much talent. I feel like I can't. When I first started watching ball, I feel like there definitely wasn't. Maybe the young talent. I mean, there was definitely a lot of talent in the NBA, don't get me wrong, but I feel like they were all like those superstar level players. I even see like young players, like second, third year guys who are already averaging 25, 26 a game in the NBA. They're just out here so early now. I think players are just way better at a younger age now. Just like way better training and workout regimens and all that. And it's only going to continue to get better. And the game will just always evolve.
Imagine if that 16-year-old kid was working out with a pro team right now. Come on.
He's from overseas. He probably has been.
Okay. Now get him on an NBA team.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because that guy clearly, if he could give Rudy Gobert buckets, he might have the chance to play on a team. Like, he could play on the Knicks right now. That guy could play on the Knicks right now. He could
play on the Knicks right now for sure. I don't think he'll be that good, though, because he is mad skinny.
He'd be their best player.
On the Knicks? Yeah, maybe. The Knicks are that sorry. But, yo, don't sleep on my man Julius Randle. I'm telling you, Julius Randle is a bucket. He's a bucket. I'm not going to say he's better than Julius Randle yet. He's a bucket. People sleep on my guy. They didn't even have him in the top 100. You know how disrespectful that is? He's a top 100 NBA player, bro. They had Dante DiVincenzo in it, but then they had Julius Randle in it. Yeah. Who's better right now, Lonzo Ball or Julius Randle?
Bro, don't tell me Lonzo was on there, but not Julius.
Yes, Lonzo was on there. Lonzo was like top 70.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was like top 70.
Wait, that was towards the end of the season, or was that before the season?
Either way, that was the same list, though. That was the same list that had Chris Middleton at 10.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, that whole list was trash. But yeah, they didn't have Julius Randle on there. They had him like honorable mentions or whatever. It's like, yeah, that's how they just.
That's garbage.
That is garbage. He averaged like literally like 22 and 10. Like he was literally a double last year. I mean, yeah, he played on the Knicks. They're trash, but he was nice on the Lakers too.
Bro, there's a lot of people.
He was nice on the Pelicans
who are not doing that.
Exactly.
Lonzo's not doing anything like that if he's on the Knicks. Like what?
No, Lonzo would be worse. Like Lonzo he wouldn't even have anyone to pass the ball to. And he damn sure can't score. But that kid would probably be the second best player on the Knicks, though, no cap. If he came in right now. Maybe Mitchell Robinson, too, though. Mitchell Robinson's pretty good. But his handle is hella suspect. He shouldn't really.
What?
You seen them handle videos of him?
Look, if he's in practice, always going up against Frank Ntilikina, yo, that defensive beast, yo. If he's always going up against him in practice, he's gonna get better.
Who, the 7'3" guy or Mitchell Robinson?
Yeah. No, 7'3" guy.
Oh, yeah, nah, for sure. Look, anybody, if you start any kid like prodigy like that on a professional team, yeah, they're gonna be dumb nice. It only makes sense. But I don't know. Damn, what was I gonna say? Kind of went blank now.
Look, he's from overseas, right?
Yeah.
So if he comes in, so yeah, he's probably on a pro team because that dude's just way too nice to not be on a pro team there. So if he comes in the league and starts killing it, right? We're gonna revisit this conversation, and I'm just gonna say the NBA
but
should
the
have
thing
been
is,
doing
though,
that.
how many times have we seen a pro kid on a pro team from a young age overseas, then go to the NBA and be straight trash?
Well,
We've seen
this
that more
dude's it.
so
This
than
dude's
not.
it.
Though. I'm saying we have seen that more times than not
in recent years,
in the history of the NBA.
but
Most
in
European
recent years,
in recent years, what?
because
There's been
basketball's
two-
getting bigger now. Basketball's
Bro,
getting bigger
basketball's
now.
been huge for the last even 15 years. It's been huge, especially
Yeah, but it's
overseas.
definitely getting bigger.
It's getting bigger, but it's been huge. I'm saying there's been so many European players that came in and were just trashed, or had maybe a couple good seasons, and they've been playing pro forever. Like Ricky Rubio, how much hype was he getting? He wasn't trash in the NBA, but he was nothing like that. He was 16-year-old destroying Spain.
Yeah,
in
and
the
you're
NBA.
talking about what? That was almost okay. So basketball's been big for 10, 15 years, right? That was already over 10 years ago. That's still at the beginning of when basketballs get big over in Europe and stuff.
But there's
You know
been
what I'm saying?
there's so many international players that are drafted every year. We've only right now talked about a few of them.
Well, yeah, because you're only drafting so many players. If you compare that to anything, compare that to how many players you get from Duke that are good, or how many versus trash, or just something in general. You're picking from there. Just a majority of the players are from here, but a majority of the people that get drafted do suck.
Yeah, the majority of
That
people
is-
get drafted. Yeah, for sure. But you were saying we're gonna revisit this conversation. I'm not saying if the NBA did that, people would be better. But there's a lot of things that wouldn't work, and there's a lot of things that could work. If we did that, but that's a whole different thing. People should be better. If you think about it, if you're gonna start training a prodigy kid on a pro team from when he's a young age, yeah, he should be stupid nice by the time he's ready to go in the NBA or any sport, not just basketball. But I think that pretty much does it for that number 3 topic. Approaching an hour here, and I think we're going to commence this Hoopaholics podcast episode 10. It's gonna come to an end. I know everyone's so sad. Don't worry, we're gonna have some more coming out. Hopefully we get everybody on here. It's been a little tough schedule wise, but as long as we got some basketball talk, we'll be talking. Gonna have a few special guests on here pretty soon. Once again, if anybody does want to partake in it, let me know down below. Be more than happy to have you on the show. But if you guys enjoy, please remember to like, comment, and of course subscribe for more awesome basketball content. Again, thank you all for 1K. Amazing stuff. We love you all. And until the next episode, it's been your Boys Who Network. Peace out, everybody.